Assalamualaikum and hello, my name is Nur Khalisa binti Abdul Rajid and my metric number is CF190171 and I will be presenting about the Pavement Condition Index or PCI process for sample unit number 1 out of 4 units in Jalan Kampung Mini Hasranau Sabah, kilometer 0.1. There are 4 primary steps in achieving the PCI value. The first one is determining the distress value and deduct value. The second one is determining the maximum allowable number of deducts, M. And the third step is evaluating the maximum corrected deduct value, CDV. And the final step is estimating the Pavement Condition Index, PCI. For that, in order to obtain the PCI value, the main reference in this project will be the ASTM D6433-07. Getting into the first step, which is the determining the distress survey and deduct value, we need to prepare the PCI survey datasheet that can be obtained from the main reference, which is the ASTM. For the sample unit number 1, the pavement distress that can be identified include edge cracking and portholes. After that, the types of pavement distress are plugged into the first column, which is the distress survey in the PCI survey datasheet. The next column, which is the quantity, is then filled with the value according to the units of code provided in the survey datasheet. The deduct value, on the other hand, is obtained from the deduct value curves. In this case, there are 2 types of deduct value curves that are used, which are the edge cracking and portholes. The density is then plotted at the x-axis of the graph and then intersected at the level of severity curves to plot the deduct value at the y-axis. So since the HDV that we have obtained previously was 19, now we move on to the equation of m equals to 1 plus 9/98 times 100 minus HDV. So the value HDV, we just substitute with the number 19 that we have obtained before. So now m equals to 1 plus 9/98 times 100 minus 19. And the value of m that is obtained is 8.44. So the third step in determining the PCI value is determining the maximum corrected deduct value, the CDV. We must select the values, the deduct values that are greater than 2, which is the 19 and 8. So there are 2 number of deduct values that are greater than 2. And then we total up the deduct value that equals to 19 plus 8 plus 0.88, that is equals to 27.88. So based on the maximum corrected deduct value, it is determined that the maximum CDV is equals to 22. So the formula for PCI is equals to 100 minus CDV max. And then we just substitute the CDV max value that we have obtained previously, which is 22. So now the PCI equals to 100 minus 22 equals to 78. So that is the PCI value for this pavement sample unit number 1. So based on the standard PCI rating scale, this pavement sample unit number 1 is in the satisfactory level, since the PCI value for this pavement is in between the range of 70 until 85. The scale is satisfactory, the level of service is B, and the maintenance activity that should be done is preventive maintenance. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Sinda Ikau. In Highway Project, I will talk more about how I calculate the PCI for evaluation for sample unit 2 in Jalan Kampung Mini Hasranau Sabah. This is the condition of road in the sample 02. From this photo, I can see the several conditions such as pothole, longitudinal and transverse cracking, and weathering or raveling. First of all, we have to determine the distress density and deduct value. Due to the pandemic COVID-19, we cannot do the real measurement at site. So we just assume the quantity, the condition of road. This is mine condition survey data sheet. In this sample, I can see the 2 pothole in low condition, and I got 46 for deduct value. Next, I assume 3.1 and 1.7 meters for longitudinal and transverse cracking in low condition, and I got 2 for deduct value. Lastly, for weathering also in low condition, I assumed the measurement around 5.3 and 6.7 meter, and I got 3 for deduct value. Next, calculate the maximum allowable number of deduct. First of all, we have to take the highest deduct value, which is, for my part, I got 46. Use the formula to find M. 1 plus in bracket 9 over 98 close the bracket times 100 minus highest deduct value. So the result of this calculation, I got the answer is 5.96. After that, we arrange the number of deduct value in descending order. Since the maximum allowable number of deduct is M is 5.96, therefore only the second and 0.96 of the third deduct value are selected. 46, 3 and 0.96 times with 2 equals 1.92. Next, we have to find the maximum corrected deduct value, CDV. For Q, my sample have 3 conditions, so my Q is 3. Next, the number of deduct value below 2. We have to change with the number that we calculate in previous step. 56 plus 3 plus 1.96 equal to 50.92. 50.92 is the total number of deduct value for this sample. This is the table to find the corrected deduct value. From total, I got the value CDV based on CDV graph. So the highest CDV I got is 46 at Q1. Last step, determine the pavement condition index PCI for this sample using formula given PCI equals to 100 minus maximum CDV that I got earlier, which is 46. For the result of PCI, I got 54. Based on the standard PCI rating scale, 54 is around poor condition, meaning that the suggestion for recommendation for this sample is minor rehabilitation needed to return to acceptable level of service LOS. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Wilma Anak Wilfred Tunggu and my matrix number is CF190093 from group 4, and today I will present about our group pavement condition index. So this study was conducted to study a pavement in the selected areas where our group have selected in the area of Ranau Sabah, which is Jalan Kampung Minihas. It is a rural road and a secondary road. So for this section, there are 2 types of distress, which is edge cracking and potholes with a high severity level. So how to know the severity level is high, medium or low? So we need to refer to ASTM 6433 document starting on page 11. So with the reference to the PCI form, after we identify the type of distress and the severity level, we need to measure the area or the length of the distress, and then we need to calculate the distress the density for each distress. So after that, with the density that we obtain, we will get the deduct value for each distress. So to get the deduct value, we also need to refer to the SDM 6433 by referring the type of distress that we found on the pavement. So for example, here the distress is 07, which is edge cracking, and with the high severity H, with the length 3 meter and the density value of 0.75. So we will get the deduct value of 13. And for the next step, the second step, we need to get the maximum allowable number of deduct by using the formula of M equal to 1 plus 9 divided by 98, and then multiply to 100 minus
HDV, which is HDV is the highest deduct value. So here we can see that the HDV for the result is 74. From the result is 74. So through this data, since the maximum allowable number of deducts is 3.39, therefore all the deduct value are selected where we have 3 deduct value. Next, we need to calculate the maximum corrected deduct value, which is CDV. So since the number of deduct value is greater than 2 and the total deduct value is 98, to get the CDV we need to obtain the Q value for each distress by reducing the smallest individual deduct value to 2. After that, we will be able to find CDV with the reference to ASTM 6433 document. And from the result, we get the maximum corrected deduct value is 76. So with the maximum CDV, we can determine the pavement condition index by minus the maximum CDV with 100, and we will get 24. And based on the rating for PCI within this 100 meter pavement, so just now we already get 24. So this section of pavement is in very poor condition. Therefore, for this pavement condition, it is recommended to reconstruct the pavement. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Melvina Camila and my metric number is CF190030. So as my part, I was assigned to determine the distress density and deduct value for sample unit 4. Some example of distress that I found along the way in sample unit 4 were weathering or revealing. Second, potholes. Third is earthquaking. After doing some calculation to determine the pavement condition index for the sample, the number of PCI that I get is 11. This means this section of pavement is in very poor condition. So as a conclusion, this pavement condition, it is recommended to reconstruct. So this means it is significant renewal and upgrade is needed and asset barely serviceable.
So I think that is all from me.